So what I'm doing here is I'm having you sit where you're comfortable so you don't have to engage in sitting. But what I'm looking at and what I want to do without too much excitement, let's say, to the pelvic, but what it is your pelvis is starting to expand as well. So it's changing the proportions of your hip joints. So that proportions of the hip joints now changing in relationship to your back. It's very similar, like I was talking about, the man cutting off his leg, to think that that'll make him normal. So, I shouldn't say cut off his leg. They shortened his leg 2 inches just for... So what I'm looking at here is just the flag of the knee. If it's there, presents, or lack thereof. So feel the tension there of just the knee. And this is going to be a very subtle lesson, but it's going to be really important. I hope, because I've never worked on a 25. That, feel the difference?
Yeah.
I can't. So what I'm going to do is start with this one. And I'm going to do this with the foot, because what's happening too is the heel's forgotten how to flag. When the heels forgets how to flag, just getting out of the car now is difficult, because the foot's not rotating, so it's not rotating the rest of your body. So basically the stomach's trying to find its way, how to go around, and it's forgotten it how to body. So I'm just going to start lightly working around the knee with the foot. Now, part of the reason why I really have to be soft and gentle is, again, because you're pregnant. I don't want to stimulate your pelvic girdle. So if anybody feels uncomfortable doing this, don't do it. Again, you've been felt up by me enough, I'm not too worried about it. But if you're someone that just walked off the street, I might think differently. So let's see. Be curious here. Going around the baby. Just to engage the back and the bottom of the foot. This is very similar with the head lift. Now I'm going to go back. There we go, that's much better. Because what you can do now, see how you can lift your leg just from that? So feel the lifting of the leg? So all I'm doing is different variations of the relationship to the heel to the knee. Now I'm going to come down on the floor. Are you comfortable? Just to work on the foot just a little bit. There we go. So now see how I'm working down the flag of the heel. See how the heel can come like a windshield wiper. Now again, with the windshield wiper, see how nice the heel comes through midline of the body in the back. Left, right. Again, people with special needs or severe pain, that's not happening. The foot can only, the heel stays solid and the foot goes like this versus left to right. In other words, this is something you could possibly work on with your grandma, someone of age. Because what it is your balance is here, so you should be able to rotate the whole foot. But when that balance gets deteriorated or non-existence, then it's more through here, and that's all they know is the foot going forward.
You can work.
There we go.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. That's good. My uncle was playing soccer, and he got like a thigh muscle in the back of his leg.
Oh yeah. That's easy stuff. He probably has an ankle sprain that he hasn't gone over properly, and that's affecting. Again, because that balance gets off, and so now your system's grabbing in a sense, and it's going to abnormal places. I worked on a neat kid yesterday, young 20s. Mom's been telling him to come here probably for a year, but he's a DJ. and he works hours, so he's always like this and doing this.
Oh,
And he's like, I don't know, I'd say 6'2".
wow.
He stood up over like an inch taller, because he was so used, he was already rounding his back. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is wild. And he did it in front of Diane, and Diane knows him. And she's like, isn't this Anita's stuff? And he's like, what the heck? And I'm like, well, you're at a new height. It's going to take your brain a bit to get used to that.
That's good.
But he's like, I feel so much better. I said, yeah, now you can hear from your mom. I told you to come swimming. See how even now I can just rotate the foot? Now, just to show you the difference, again, see? See how that heel's just dead? See the toes are just going back and forth? And see, I can't rotate the femur, the knee, none of that's happening. Don't worry, I'll do both. There. But see?
Yeah.
And now what I'm going to do, I did this before on Bobby. It's my one thing. I was so pissed it wasn't recorded. Okay, I'll get it up here. So I'm matching where I can't lift and backing off. So I'm going up to where your leg doesn't want to be lifted. Feel that? And backing off. And I'm looking for you to go, oh. And just to show you on this side though, lifting. Yeah. But I mean, this is you trying to drive. This is you're pregnant. You're trying to lift that leg. Yeah, like, there we go. It's still, now it's just up higher, but it's not completely higher. And this is answering your question with the baby with pre-claw. Same thing is happening here. But you still feel it in the hips?
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm going to lift you and just give a little, there we go. Now feel the difference. Well, at least now you can drive a car again. Now again, you're pregnant. I'm not expecting a yoga pose and your knee up to your elbow. But
Oh
now,
no, I can feel with my hip. Like,
well, look at this though.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is like, well, this is where I'm older than you guys. When Alfalfa put the fish in his leg and they were hitting it with the hammer and all that because the here was a fish, whereas here there's a leg. But see the chest cavity walking? Now I could get you to walk to show you the difference. Yeah, why don't we do that just to show you, and then I'll do this.
Oh yeah.
But see how the lift of the leg and everything to walk versus the other one probably feels like you're dragging it.
Yeah. Yes.
For each step is different.
Well, really what she's doing,
The one step kind of rolls and the other step kind of goes.
pregnant people are very similar to what I argue with prematurity. When you've got a baby that's only born at a pound, for some reason they think it should be in womb pose. Well, when they do that, the baby is pretty much lying on one side. So let's say now that the position of the lie, where the baby is lying, hasn't changed, and the baby's now 2 pounds. That's 100% increase in body mass. So what do you think this hip socket, the bone density, everything forming in this hip versus this hip is happening? So that's where a lot of these kids, what? Was that good?
And then
Oh, so cute. So the bone densities and all this, so later on they're dealing with hip dysplasia and all of that, but it's very similar with leading the baby and getting the flat head. Same thing happens to the pelvis. So same things happen with her being pregnant. Her proportions are changing quicker than her brain can handle, or her body, or for whatever reason. So basically her body's like, all right, I'm pregnant and I can't move. So that little bit I did, she can lift and present the foot, but this leg is like, so that's over exaggerated, but that's basically what her system's doing. But when she came here, that's where you get that waddle, because what it is you're pulling the leg up versus a walk. So, again, both work. I can get to you like this, but by 2 o'clock I'm exhausted as a pregnant woman. And that's where you see some people, they can like, so again, I'm just gonna rotate And it's a rotate, I'm pushing into the side of the patella at various points, but it's a rotation of the foot, but it's almost like a lift too. But what I'm doing with that is trying to activate the hip joint to rotate. There you see, just saying that, the difference, you're like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do? However, as always, the left side will go quick, whatever, the opposite side will go quicker because it already knows what I wanted from this side and it'll transfer. That part is the true brilliance of Feldenkrais, of using the one side of your system to teach the other side. We only learn from good versus bad. From Arlie playing, she's learning, yummy, I like these beads. Or, or this toy hurt me, I don't want to play with it again, That's how a baby starts to learn. So depending on its environment and how it's allowed to explore, that's how a baby functions. But that's how we are until the day we die. We really learn good versus bad. Unfortunately, we learn too much that we like chocolate versus broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're going to come in here for the foot. Now, for whatever reason, right here the arch is more engaged than I'd like to be than the other foot. And that's where, too, your left side's always going to be different than your right side. So all I'm doing here is almost like playing an instrument where I'm going around the small bones, and it's a touch, but it's a little pull. This stuff's great for Aaron when he's sleeping. Because there we go, looking for the floor.
Oh, okay.
See how you can reach for a step versus falling down the steps. When I say falling down the steps, I don't mean literally falling down the steps, but when going down, that's a fall versus looking. But also, this is what's preventing you from being graceful while you're pregnant. See how, this is a much different move, and there goes your chest. There you go. So you go back. Are you comfortable sitting in that position? As always, doesn't matter that I've got a camera if you need to be more comfortable. There we go. See, reaching for the floor with the heel, coming back. That's it. There's the lift. Now the lift still only goes, it doesn't even get your leg off the ground, but at least your system's initiating. So I'm lifting to where I feel, again, where it's restricted or engaged, and come back down.
Is that the same kind of things I should be doing with my mom?
I was just about to say that. I really was. I was right. These are things to engage with your mom.
Okay.
Now with her, she can be lying down, pillow underneath the legs,
Okay.
and you can do that. And another, I'll do a quickie. So I'm going to do it this way with Claudia, but you can sit there and go this, through the lift this way. So I can ask you to lift your knee up, okay? So see how much she has to engage the chest? Now she's going to stick a little bit to my vinyl though. So now I'm going to go for a ride. Lift your knee up. There you go. Lift your knee up. And now do it without me. So see how it's not as much effort. And you can do that with your mom lying down. And I think I have that on video. See now the difference?
Oh, yeah.
So now, the chair. Thinking out loud. So now I can just come here, and it's just like opening jars of mayonnaise. Just a light, but what I'm doing is, or like squeezing a lemon, but I'm not squeezing the knee. It's that rotation with the pressure, but my objective now is to hook up the pelvis from here. So so see how I'm pressing into the hip joints and the pelvis? And I'm going to release. So I'm not just doing, see, this is just pushing back. See? Feel the difference with the rotations? There we go. So now I'm going down with one knee. Is that okay? And going down. So you can feel there's more of a strain this way than this way.
Yeah.
That's okay. But this is where I just worked on Arlie, showing that the balance on one side was more successful than the other side. There we go. So now I'm underneath, and begins with a C, Y, boy, it's under the patella. Condyles. So I'm underneath, and it's a lift, but again, it's going to be just a light rotation. See, I wish I could do baby all over again, because I could not do that with my children.
Do what?
Put down, walk away, and let them just coo. And
She does this best here than
Oh.
at home.
there we go. See how that's working.
At home, she pretty much wants to be held all day long. Because she has you two figured out.
And now I'm doing it down the leg. It's going to feel a little bit like a massage doing this.
She'll do that if I put her outside, though. Like if I put her out back on a blanket under the tree where there's always something new to look at,
Yeah.
she'll stay and play. But if it's in the same old place, she's like, forget that, there's nothing new to see.
So I'm twisting the knee, bringing the foot. Feel the difference? Femur doesn't want to twist as nicely on this side. But I need her to do that because this is getting out of the driver's side of the car.
Yeah.
So see how this is right now easier to get out of a passenger side than the driver's side. You always think about functional movement versus the lesson itself. It's much more profound. How I touch you doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense in your life. So I'm going to just go under here. Notice how even though I'm twisting, I'm pushing down into the leg. So what that's doing, see how you're counterbalancing on the pelvis? So your pelvis is actually starting to shift down just subtly. Again, look at what we just did with Arlie, the same thing, how she went to the left elbow, right? Versus how she went to the right elbow. See how on you, this is much more successful going to the right than going to the left. And that's okay. But there we go. So there we go. That's better. And just that alone, no offense, this is giving birth versus giving birth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, Well, I mean, it helps to be able to do this versus,
Yeah.
where's the baby gonna go? I hope it works out. She better be calling me at 3 a.m. I would love to give her a lesson right before and all that sort of stuff. Now again, she had her arm taped, so this is gonna be interesting. first of all, again, this is what I was talking about, proportions, working on you being pregnant, her not being pregnant. See how her knees can come down, where you're naturally already,
like that.
you know,
Yeah.
so. Because again, it's just like baby coming, you know, widen the roads. So I'm gonna do it to you. Not much. Do it to you. Not much either. But actually the right's better. See how the especially in the top part of your groin is quite locked?
Mm-hmm.
See if I were to keep going, that's a force in my world. Do you feel?
Yeah.
So see at least you're starting to shift just a little bit in your butt this way. But so I'm gonna start. However, even this lesson for those, Feldenkrais is all based off of judo. So to do the ATMs are awareness through movement, the lessons, you haven't been here, but I can actually talk you through. I'll say lift the knee up, bring it back down. There's plenty of these lessons online. I do more of what he would consider functional integration, where you're getting a hands-on lesson. So, but for anyone who's watching this too, if they're doing ATMs, anything based off of the rolls. Feldenkrais was a judo master, and so all of Feldenkrais is based off of the roll. There we go through the pelvis. But see how your foot quivers? Mm-hmm. And also notice how your foot is staying very engaged, right? It's not dropping, it's not staying put. That is a relationship with having your arm taped. But still, at least look at the knee here versus here.
Right.
Right. So.
But it does something. This morning I put her back down at 4 a.m. and I put her on her stomach to go back to sleep. She wasn't tired, so she was going at herself. All of a sudden she got mad, she flipped herself over, and then she can't go back to sleep. I was like, well, that's what you get when you flip yourself over. Now you need to learn how to flip yourself back on your stomach.
So, see, feel the ankle on this foot? Or lack of an ankle? But again, what happened was, what I'm assuming is because you were taped, your ability to do rolls was so, I like to say
My
fakakta.
mom said I used to run into walls all the time.
Oh yeah, because...
That didn't say to you something is wrong.
What did she know? When running into walls is when a child doesn't learn come up vision, and all of that. So you were like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you weren't learning your proportions with your vision, so that's why I am going to assume you had much more of a problem that way. But
Just run into tables and walls.
But see this, what I'm doing here, see how you don't know, and you're twitching because you don't know how to roll around the knee.
Right.
Okay, so see.
Yeah, I can feel it in
right.
my knee.
So what I'm going to do here, a little bit different hand position, because I need the roll of the foot first. There we go.
And that's the same thing with our leg.
But also notice I can't drop your foot. Watch this. Because you didn't learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Crawling is I sit up, or I go up, I come down. But since you didn't know how to crawl, you're like... So... So I'm letting her fall. More and more. But notice I'm here with my hands. That's it. See, that's the crawl.
Okay.
Just like Arlie. Your back didn't suddenly get stronger,
No.
but you had room for it to go because your pelvis. Here.
Yeah, I can see that is all.
So a baby in this condition, crawling's just not there. And also look now your legs versus, now you can't even hold them together, right?
I don't want to, but I have to put it back again.
Right. But notice I can't flag her heel just yet. See, no matter what I do with midline, see how she's turning her heel to not cross it beyond the other side. So see?
Yeah.
I just did this with a woman I was just working on. And no matter what I did with the arm the arm crossed midline, but the shoulder never would. So she would do all this weird stuff for the shoulder not to cross midline versus just going across, which I thought was interesting. But she had a shoulder surgery done at 9 years old.
Oh. I don't have complaining food
There you go.
when it's not angry.
See now the heel on both sides?
Yeah.
Now for her, I'm going to do a little bit different. Twist the heel out and the knee in. Because that's not something she worked on. See when I do that, look at how her chest is going and her arm's going for it. Because you're so used to do something like that, you had your arm engaged.
Yeah.
Her proportions are more human, yours weren't because you're pregnant. So her legs are just going to be easier to lift. You're blowing out your pelvis, you're changing your proportions, so your brain's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between having all of a sudden hips like this versus, hips like this that you're used to. So see how that's all pre-crawl. There's a couple of glitches here, going from here. See how you did it? You lifting, let go. But now feel this leg
It's like lead.
and this leg now. Look at the foot.
Yeah.
So I'll do the same thing, walk around and then come back. So you can feel your peg leg.
Yeah, this one rolled and this one just steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's still like, she's eating her hands.
Do you have water?
Yes. I have either cold in the fridge or I have room temperature on the floor.
Em actually goes back to work in a real office starting next week. She's been working from home for a couple years. And he's like, I have to go back to work in the office now. Like, whatever. Have fun, goodbye, get back.
So feel the hip here. Feel the hip here. So notice down this leg versus this leg.
It's funny. Because it turns and this one's like, yeah, having to fun with that.
So now I'm going to go over on this one. So now this one, the hip is much more locked. So I'm gonna go in.
Is it because it's the counterbalance to that arm?
It could
that
be,
one
but,
would be
but
more?
the thing is, to always assume it's because of that arm
Right.
limits you and me.
Right.
You also could have fallen down really good, which you probably did, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
on that bum, and you're just overprotective as well, it could be, but,
Okay.
you know, but you're now in your 20s, this is where we're at. I thought my thing was going out. And so be it.
Yeah. I didn't know if things. My question was more like, if somebody tends to have more of a problem on one leg, will it tend to be more of a problem on the opposite in the arm?
Well, it all depends
In-
on how they developed the counterbalance, or
Okay.
if they didn't balance the
Okay.
counterbalance. You know, so that's where the difference between most kids that are developmentally delayed are asymmetrical from the beginning. They can't go in and out of it. Whereas you suddenly have a problem, you can go in and out of it, no problem. Let's say you had to get this knee replaced, right?
Okay.
So you had counterbalance, but because you had to shift everything over here, you know, where your cane is or whatever you're using to get around this knee, totally changes it.
Okay.
It depends on how healthy your brain is, though, once this knee is healed, that you can go back to, oh, I'm fixed now. I had a woman in my class, and she goes, well, I can't do stairs. I had my knee replaced. And I'm like, oh, when? I was expecting her to say like 3 months ago. 4 years ago. So nobody told her she was healed. So she hasn't done stairs in 4 years because she had her knee
Wow.
replaced. And she's got a better knee than she had before. So. But to suddenly shorten this guy's leg, can you
Holy
imagine?
cow.
His knee used to be here, and now it's here. You know, I mean, his foot used to
Yeah.
hang down to here, and now it's at that age, when your visual complexity is slowing down,
Crazy. So how was Hawaii?
pretty awesome.
The lessons, the vacation, or both?
Everything went really well.
Kids like it?
Yeah, they were like the island is cursed before they went, because they'd been there before, and they had son got stuck by a bee, and he was allergic, and he fell and needed 4 stitches, couldn't go in the ocean. So then he got seasick on the kayak, and he's like, I told you this island was cursed. I'm like,
This time that all happened?
no, last time.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
this time that he got seasick on the kayak. So now, see the kick in the toes? Boop, 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 boop. See, she has no idea how to transfer.
From one to the other.
That's a little bit. Feel it?
Uh-huh. That's like pulling. Okay.
So I'll start here at the knees. So again, I'm rotating the knees
Okay.
into the pelvis. This also will help explain too. If you notice with the babies, I'm not always on the hands, I'm not on the feet. I allow them to be free. So this kind of conversation can happen or not happen, you know, and I can watch it. But you're to allow that freedom in the counter to happen and the feet to sway is so important with babies. So a lot of, when you see baby massage or whatever, they're grabbing the feet and going, dee dee, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. They're seeing that, but by making the feet rigid, it's really counterproductive. So I'm just twisting.
And I think she seems more reluctant about doing anything if you like have her hand.
Well, you can't, if
If I'm trying to get her to reach and she's got hold of my finger and I'm like, well, you're holding my finger, I'll try and get your arm up. She's like, forget you. Well, I'm going to pull back.
well, stand up,
But when you do it through
And
the
sit
shoulder,
down.
then she goes.
right? Now I'm gonna hold your hand. Stand up. Feel the difference? So, or the same thing. So go to stand up. See? It totally,
Right.
your body's like, what the heck?
But until you said the other week that you don't do hand over hand, I wouldn't have thought about it like that. I'd have been like, well, if your arm gets up, you know what I mean? As long as I'm not yanking your arm up, what would really be the difference?
And that's where you see babies that have been walked too long like this, then they're walking around with their arms up. Because the parents sat there and did the,
Yeah, hold it.
Hold the hands so I can do it.
that's much better. Now you can do the Irish dance. You can kick. See this? That should make a big difference for you. Sorry.